here's kind of the way we generally look at it at the Bear Creek School. Every single subject you learn has a grammar of that subject. And the grammar of that subject is just the basic knowledge and skills of that subject. So take science, for example. The knowledge and skills of science is the grammar of it. Do you think they are done learning all the knowledge there is to know about science in K through 6? Well, I can guarantee not. I can guarantee Donna Dunn's AP biology class, they are learning tons and tons of grammar of the subject still. They're still having to learn that. We all learn grammar of things every single day. So I would argue that that's the beginning of learning, is always learning something about the subject area. So whether it's, I'm learning the actual grammar of grammar, I'm learning the parts of speech, I'm learning how sentences are made up, I'm learning the different types of sentences, all that would be the grammar stage. So all learning begins with the grammar stage, no matter who you are. Then our brains will actually not retain just the grammar of things unless our brain knows that information is useful in some real way. Eventually, if we just know facts and our brains don't use it, our brains will begin to discard those facts. It's just the way our brains work. Our brain says, haven't used that in a really long time, I don't really need it, I'm going to throw that out. So the next stage of learning, and whether they're itty-bitty preschoolers or they're 12th graders, we're always thinking and talking about this. If you've taught them some grammar of a subject area, you next need to teach them, how does that apply? How do we wrestle with those ideas? Why do those ideas matter? What about that thing makes us care about that in a real world situation? So if you have a lower school, a good example of that is with the science curriculum. They're learning the grammar of something in their classroom, and then they go to the science lab. Well, they do this in the middle and upper school science classes as well. Then they go to the lab and they say, based on what I know and what I've studied and what I've read and what my teachers lectured, when I do this lab, I think this is going to happen based on what I know. So that's the whole scientific method. They apply it then, they try it, they make a hypothesis. They're thinking and reasoning with the information that they know. And then, so that's called the dialectic. And then the final stage of learning is the rhetoric. And the rhetoric, they really do get better at the high school level. Because they're really able to think at such a deeper level. But they are doing rhetoric from the time they are in kindergarten. They do it 4th grade, you'll see it, they do it with their president reports. They start off, they learn the grammar about that president. Next, they do the dialectic. They do a little bit of thinking, reasoning. Why was he like the way he was like? What things do I think were in his past that shaped him to be who he became? Why did he make the choices that he made? What affected those choices? So that would be the dialectic. And then in the end, they do a presentation, and that's the rhetoric. They're persuading the audience as part of rhetoric. They're persuading the audience of a certain viewpoint, of some evaluation that they've made, and some conclusions that they've drawn. And that's what we hope for our learners. When you send a high schooler off, you want them to be a person who can articulate their ideas, who can evaluate ideas, who can think through all sides of an argument, and then they can articulate it, whether in writing or in speech. So that's the learning that we're taking kids through.